Patrick Ta, on the other hand, okay, not to discount anyone who has a come up as an influencer. Obviously, as a content creator myself, I would never speak negativity like that over anyone else who was able to get their big break from the content space. But I more so have a bone to pick with this is going to sound judgmental, but I think a lot of you might know where I'm coming from. I have a more of an issue with Patrick Ta's personality. Like I don't trust completely where he's coming from based on what I've seen of when what are these called? The major dimension these names I can't. The major dimension eye illusion eyeshadow duos. Okay, I'm just gonna call them the glittery eyeshadow duos. Remember there was that whole fiasco back in the day when the first launch of these came out, and then people were just saying that they were like way too overpriced, and I don't know if they were breaking or they had mold or something, but there was something wrong with the quality control, right? And the big influencers, the beauty reviewers were pointing it out on their platforms. And Patrick Ta did some very weird activity. I did not like the way he moved at all. Like I peeped some stuff with the way that he moved, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with me and you saw exactly what I saw. The fact that remember when he put out that apology video and then deleted it and then put out another one that was almost verbatim, word by word, the same exact apology that he said in the first video, except the second one was just more like emotionless, and it seemed like he just wanted to curate his image more for the apology video. So okay, I don't know much about Patrick Ta except like after that fiasco with the eyeshadow duos, when people were complaining about the quality and about how they were a ripoff, the way that he came back with a non-apology, it was a non-apology disguised as an apology video, but he didn't actually take full accountability. He really just ended up doubling down about why his eyeshadows and his shimmers are superior to everyone else's in the industry. And he did that whole like weird video comparing his glitters with other similar glitters from different brands, insisting to us that gram by gram or pound by pound, his had more expensive ingredients, which in turn justifies the exorbitant price that he was charging for basically two eyeshadows, right? So, yeah, out of that fiasco, I had just enough curiosity to watch like one kind of autobiographical, I don't know, video. I watched one like informative video about Patrick Ta and kind of his whole beginnings, his creative beginnings, and how he became a makeup star, a makeup artist that eventually rubbed shoulders with the biggest names in fashion today. Like, who are those models that he's always hanging around? Bella Hadid, Gigi Hadid, you know, the Hadid sisters. He's always like seen photographed with all of the glamorous it girl models of today, right? Kendall Jenner, I'm sure, as well. And I just remember like in that video, I forget which creator it was, but somebody did kind of an autobiography type of video about his origins as a creative child up until how he was able to break into the makeup and beauty industry and become like a household name today, right? I think he also was he not creative director or something of Shiseido at one point? I think, yeah, he worked for Shiseido at one point, and then he got the kind of like global social media recognition, and then he launched his own brand, and now he's a household name unto himself, right? But I just remember like they were talking about when he was a child, he used to be really chubby and insecure. In this interview, or no, in this video, they included clips of him being interviewed in which he talks about how he used to be so insecure and like all he wanted to do was to be, you know, accepted by the popular crowd, and that now that he's able to work with all these famous models and people in the fashion industry, it's kind of like a dream come true for him. While I have compassion, okay, for whatever he went through, I know it's not an easy thing, especially as an Asian kid, so you're already a minority, and on top of it you have to deal with the fact that you are chubby, so kids can be cruel, and all of these factors together, it just gives other kids more ammunition to chip away at your self-confidence. Like that part I'm not denying whatsoever, but just to know that like, okay, I don't trust people that have made it to adulthood and have not taken the time out to heal their inner child. They have not taken that time to either go to therapy or just work out their past wounds by themselves, right? Because it shows me that even though now you're an adult and you might be materially successful on the outside, but in someone like Patrick Ta's case, I could be wrong, okay? At the end of the day, I don't know these people personally, but it's just a very heavy sense, a very heavy vibe intuition I got from his entire behavior, especially in response to the first scandal that concerned his first eyeshadow duo launch. The way that he was so defensive and he doubled down on how much his price point was justified and blah blah blah, it just really gave me like, oh, okay, so you are still that insecure little boy who would do anything for outside validation, right? Like that's why it means so much to him to be photographed with the Hadid sisters all the time, or that's why he needs to like attach himself to another big name in the fashion industry all the time, because that's where he gets his self value from to this day, because he needs outside validation. He needs the proximities to celebrities in order to get his self-worth. There's a difference between like doing that from just a purely business smarts perspective. Like, yeah, if you raise your clout by associating yourself with celebrities or having celebrity clientele, of course, if you're a smart business person, you can leverage that to catapult your own career. But I always got the sense that it was not just that. It was more like, in addition to like leveraging that to forward his career, I got the sense that he really does depend a lot on the validation of being associated with all of the popular it girls or it figures in fashion today. And that's why my very long-winded reason as to why I'm very put off from wanting to purchase anything that he puts out in his Patrick Ta cosmetics line, because I don't like to give my money to people who don't have the courage to validate themselves, if you know what that means. I just don't think it's a good exchange of energy to be supporting people who, like, yeah, they might have this huge material success on the outside, but if it's something that was driven by insecurity and wanting to fit in with the cool crowd, which I think it's very apparent in Patrick Ta's case that was kind of a huge driving factor for all of his success, then I personally don't want anything to do with that dynamic. I only want to associate with and give my money to do business with people who know exactly who they are. They're very aligned to their purpose in life. They have high moral integrity. They don't depend on the validation of, you know, their peers or this famous, beautiful celebrity. They don't depend on people to give them a cosign, right, to validate their worth as a human being. And I just get the vibes from Patrick Ta that he is still, to this day, that chubby little kid back in grade school that just wanted the popular kids to like and accept him. So I clock so many influencers and public figures who still have that kind of, they're still trapped in that mentality where they're dependent on outside validation. And while I'm not discounting like the trauma or whatever they went through, I feel like it's their responsibility as an adult to work through that. And if they don't, it's fine, right? But if they're going to start a business and they're going to become a public figure, then I reserve the right as a consumer to not buy from someone like that. Because I feel like at the end of the day, that's someone who is not like in line with their true purpose or their true integrity, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my very, very overly deep philosophical reason as to why I would never feel comfortable buying anything from Patrick Ta. While we're on the topic of Patrick Ta, I do think that his products look beautiful. I mean, I've heard good reviews about these matte eyeshadow palettes as well, but just on the basis that basically he gives me the ick when I think about his backstory and the fact that to this day, it just seems like everything that he does is still for validation and attention. And you can't convince me otherwise, okay? Because I'm a very intuitive person and I can see right through people. So if you think that's too harsh, I mean, that's your opinion, but that is one of my criteria when it comes to deciding whether or not I want to purchase from someone. And I cannot purchase anything from Patrick Ta without having this icky feeling of like, ugh, but I'm supporting this person who is so insecure and just like such a brown noser. Like they just want to hang out with the popular kids in Hollywood. And like that's what he lives for, you know? He lives for the selfies with the Bella Hadids and the Kendall Jenners on his page. That's where he gets his self-worth. That's the way that he feels like he's able to stick it to his bullies in the past. But it's like if you were truly healed and ascended, you would not even remember those bullies' names, right?
I just thought of the perfect way to describe him. So imagine you booked him as your makeup artist for your wedding months out in advance, and he already locked in the date with you. The wedding is set, the venue is set, so you're banking on him showing up on time and being there to do your makeup on your special day, right? But then let's say that a celebrity client of his calls him last minute and needs him to do her makeup for some, I don't know, promotional event that happens to coincide with the day of your wedding, he is 100%, okay, well, I can't say definitively because I don't know him personally, but I would bet money that he's the type of makeup artist that would drop his loyal, quote unquote, normal person client like a hot potato for a celebrity because that's what he values. He values his clout and his image more than his actual integrity and reputation as a makeup artist. And he values, yeah, like his own image more than his relationship with his real, normal, everyday, well paying clients. And he wouldn't even give you a real apology about it either. Bet. Like, let's say he gave you some BS lame excuse about why he had to cancel on your wedding day, but then you find proof or evidence of it later on his Instagram or on social media of him doing the celebrity's makeup on the day of your wedding, and you confront him about it, trust and believe he would deflect, he would gaslight, he would, I'm so sorry you feel that way, you to death, because in his mind, he's justified to prioritize his ego and his image over your wedding day. This is why, like, people who are unhealed, people who depend on outside validation, they're not trustworthy people to do business with or to get close with at all, okay? They are not capable of operating in integrity because anytime a situation comes up that brushes against that ever-present insecurity that they've carried with them as a child, like a thorn in their side that they refuse to do the inner work to heal and get rid of or dissolve, they're always going to choose the route of assuaging their own ego over holding their promise to you. That's just how these people operate.
But anyway, so Patrick Na, more like, is a na for me. Essence and Alice in Wonderland. Okay. Hello.